everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today's video is a very exciting video. I've never filmed one of these before and I'm really excited. I literally can't stop smiling. If you haven't watched my videos before, my name's Maisie and I basically just like to vlog any exciting things in my life. It's usually holidays, specifically Disney holidays. I do have 3 series of Florida vlogs on my channel, but yeah, today's video is really exciting and I can't wait to get into it. I'm sure you can probably tell by the title of this video and by the fact that I've got my ears on, but we are going to Orlando next year in 2026 and I can't believe I'm saying this, but we are staying on site at both Universal and Disney, which is so exciting because I've never stayed on any resort hotel before. So yeah, can't even put into words how excited I am. I'm basically going to break this video up into different sections, just going through which hotels we picked and why, how long we're going for, when we're going for and why we chose the time of year, and who we booked with. Are you gonna sit with me? Sit with me? I honestly can't believe that we are actually staying on site. Doesn't feel real. We are having a little bit of a heat wave in the UK now, so it's definitely making me think of Orlando. My parents are there at the moment and they went to Epcot the other day and yeah, I was just living vicariously through their photos, but they're having a really good time. So, and my dad is actually going to Epic Universe for a day next week because they released tickets early, I think. So yeah, he's grabbed those tickets and I'm very jealous. But honestly, just having a trip booked like makes me so much happier and like I've got something to look forward to, which I know I'm incredibly lucky to be able to go. So I'll just do a brief overview of the trip. So we are staying for 14 nights. We're doing 5 nights at Universal's Aventura Hotel and then 9 nights at Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter. It will be me and Lewis going and we are going in May next year. We are also on the quick service dining plan as we are staying in a moderate hotel and that will get us 2 quick service meals per day, both with the drink I think, which can be alcoholic or non-alcoholic. You also get a snack each day and then you get your refillable mugs for the resort, which basically gives you unlimited refills of hot and cold drinks for the duration of your stay, but you can only use these in the resorts, not in the parks. So it doesn't have to be at your resort. Obviously most of the time we will be using it at our resort, but if we take it out and go and resort hop around other hotels then we can use it there as well. We would have bought these anyway. They're about $22 each currently I think, which is a no-brainer really. I think it's so worth the money. I'm saying this like I've done it before. I have never got a resort mug before, which honestly is like one of the most exciting things. I just can't wait. Just like seeing everyone's aesthetic videos of them getting their resort mug in their hotel. It's just, yeah, I can't wait. I know it's like the smallest of things, but it's just, yeah, all the little things that add up to staying on property. But yeah, as I was saying, resort mugs, we'll get them included in our dining plan, so yeah, really happy about that. So first I'm just going to get into why we decided to do a split stay at Universal and Disney. For me, like the thought of staying at Disney the whole time and having just one base is really appealing to me, but ultimately the perks you get from staying at a Universal hotel, the fact that there are now 4 parks there. I haven't been for 3 years. Lewis has never been to Universal. So just having that dedicated time to do everything in Universal and be close by will be really beneficial for us, and having the perks that you get at the hotel and just being on Universal property will allow us to go into the parks and go back to the hotel to rest like whenever we feel like it. We're not going to feel like we need to stay there just because we've made the trip from Disney to Universal, if that makes sense. So yeah, there is now 4 parks, 3 theme parks now that Epic Universe has opened, and Volcano Bay, which is their water park, which I'm so excited for me and Lewis to do because Disney water parks are one thing, but Volcano Bay is just next level. So I'm really excited for us to experience that together. Although I did see the other day that they're getting rid of the Tapu Tapu bands, which I'm quite shocked at really, because I thought it was a system that worked really well and was one of the selling points of Volcano Bay as well. The fact that you can just tap in and not have to stand in line, you can go away and go around the lazy river when you're waiting for your time slot. Like, I thought it was such a great perk. So I can't remember when they're getting rid of that. I I feel like it might be before we go, so that'll be interesting. But nevertheless, if we're literally 5 minutes from the water park, then yeah, that would be really exciting. So the perks of staying at a Universal hotel is that you get an hour's early entry to all of the parks, I believe, when you stay at any of the Universal hotels. It doesn't matter which level they are, so obviously that's a massive perk. Like with Disney, I think it's half an hour you get, so an hour's early entry is pretty huge to be able to get on the bigger rides. Universal is nowhere near as big as Disney, so it looks so much easier to get around. The distance from the parks to the hotel is much smaller. Be interested with Epic Universe because it doesn't look like it's in that kind of main bit. It looks like it's kind of over the road a little bit. So obviously there are 2 new hotels, 3 actually, including the Grand Helios, I think it is. There's 3 now that are in the Epic Universe section. It's only if you're staying at the Premier hotels, I think that's what they're called, which is Lowe's, Royal Pacific and Portofino Bay and the Hard Rock Hotel. You do get express passes with those, which is a pretty nice perk because if you're only staying 1 night, you get it for the day before and the day after, so you get 1 night and 2 days express passes. So I did have a look, but the cost was just too much. I wasn't really worried about the express passes because we are going to be there for 5 nights and it's 4 days, so I'm pretty sure we're going to have enough time to do everything. Like with the early entry as well, I think we'll be able to get everything done. The fact that we can go out early and then go back to the hotel in the afternoon just for some pool time or a nap or anything, and then go back out in the evening, we'll have plenty of time to do everything. So another reason that I decided to do a split stay is just to bring the cost down, because generally Universal hotels are cheaper, or they're cheaper than their kind of comparable hotel at Disney. So I suppose there's kind of lots of things to weigh up, because if we'd stayed at Port Orleans for the full 14 nights, we would have had the dining plan every day, so then we would have been saving money on food, but then we would have had to pay for Ubers to get to Universal. But yeah, I do think I've made the right decision in the split stay. Another thing was whether to do Universal or Disney first. And for me, Disney is what I'm looking forward to the most. I think, yeah, even though Universal is incredible and I love it and I can't wait to experience the new park, Disney for me is just like going home. I know what I'm doing. Like with Universal, I have absolutely no idea where's good to like eat and stuff. So if anyone's got any tips on where to eat in Universal or even around Universal, because I'm sure we'll probably venture out and go to like International Drive one night or something. If anyone's got any recommendations for either in the parks, in Epic Universe or City Walk, then do let me know, because I have absolutely no clue. Like, I know there's a Panda Express, which I love Panda Express, so probably gonna get that one night. Let me know where's good to eat in the parks, if there is anywhere. But yeah, Disney, I just know what I'm doing. Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to leave Disney to the second part of our trip, because I know it's just gonna be more relaxed. Also didn't want to leave Disney and then be missing it, if that makes sense. Like if I've got it in the second part of our trip, I'm not gonna miss Universal, but if we went to Universal second, I probably would be missing Disney and I wouldn't be able to focus on Universal so much, which is bad, but I think we will probably feel the same way. It's just that Disney is home. The only thing I'm disappointed about is that we're not going to have the travel day and then get to Disney on that like first day. That's like initial excitement of getting to the hotel won't be there, but we're going to Universal, so that's equally as exciting. And then we'll also get like another mini travel day in the middle. I think, as we've never stayed on site before either, it'll be interesting to see what we like about each hotel. I think the other thing I was worried about is the sort of checking out of Universal, going over to Disney, checking in, whether that would kind of take a day out of the holiday. If anything, it's like a second travel day, and realistically it won't take very long to check out of our hotel at Universal. We'll jump in an Uber and I think it will probably take under half an hour, like just under half an hour to get to Disney. We'll check in and then that's done really, and we can kind of just treat it like a rest day, to be honest. I'm sure we'll probably just get up and go from Universal, get to Disney around midday, and then if we can't check in yet, we'll just like go to Springs or have a walk around the resort, spend some time in the pool. I'm sure it'll just be like a nice little rest day, and then we'll have 8 days, I think, of Disney parks. I actually put this on my Instagram story to see whether people would recommend doing a split stay, and pretty much everyone who'd done it said they would recommend doing it, and the crossover day wasn't too much effort and it was really smooth. So yeah, I am happy that we are split staying, but let's get on to why I chose what hotels we're staying in. So I have done quite a lot of research on the Universal hotels as I'm not really familiar with them. I did stay at Loews Royal Pacific a few years ago, like 3 years ago, with my family. It was absolutely stunning. If I could stay there again I would, but it was just too expensive for us. For us it would have been any of the hotels in the value or the prime category. I'm not really sure what the difference is. The hotels in the value category are the Endless Summer hotels, it's Dockside and Surfside I think, and Cabana Bay. And in the prime category is Aventura and the new Stella Nova and Terra Luna, I think it might be, which are the new Epic Universe hotels. So just by looking at like the different hotels, I think the value are more family orientated with more theming, a bit like the ones at Disney in the value category. And then the prime hotels just look a bit more not sophisticated, but just a bit more adult and less theming. By looking at the price difference, there wasn't too much difference in the value and the prime hotels. I think the Endless Summer ones always came out the cheapest, but not by that much. So for me, I was always leaning towards Aventura or Cabana Bay. This is because of their proximity to Volcano Bay. They're the two that are the closest to Volcano Bay, I believe. I think the prices were fairly similar on the dates where I was looking, but when I was looking at different dates, sometimes Cabana Bay would be a lot more. I don't know if this was because of like school holidays and it's a more popular hotel for families, but yeah, the dates that we were looking at, they were pretty similar prices. For us as a couple, I think that we much prefer a modern and simple theming for a hotel, so that is why we went for the Aventura. It's a relatively new hotel. The rooms at Aventura just look a lot more modern than, especially like Cabana Bay. I think the rooms look a little bit dated there, which is what put me off a little bit. I honestly did keep going back and forth between Cabana Bay and Aventura though, because the pools at Cabana Bay look so fun. I think there's two, and one of them has a lazy river which just looks so fun. But I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're staying at a Universal hotel you can use any of the pools at any of the hotels, which doesn't sound right now that I'm saying it, but I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. If that is true, that's quite a good perk, to be honest. And the Aventura and Cabana Bay are right next to each other, so yeah, if we wanted to use the pool I'm pretty sure we can. Volcano Bay is also right next door, so I'm sure if we want to cool down we'll just go over to Volcano Bay, which is just like, it's so insane now that I'm saying it, like we're literally going to be staying next door to Volcano Bay. Like what? So I'll see if I can insert a map on the screen. It's also next door to Sapphire Falls, where they have a water taxi that goes to Universal and Islands of Adventure. So I think someone told me on Instagram the other day that if you're staying at Aventura you can use that water taxi to get to the parks. Otherwise there's like a walking path. Yeah, lots of options to get to the parks, and then I assume there's some sort of shuttle bus or something that goes to Epic Universe, and then yeah, Volcano Bay right next door. But I'm pretty sure there's like a back entrance that Aventura and Cabana Bay can use, which is just so cool. I did consider one of the new Epic Universe hotels, but honestly they're just not really my cup of tea, and I'd rather be closer to City Walk and everything else that's going on rather than just be by Epic Universe. So yeah, that's why we chose the Aventura. I think it can just be so overwhelming choosing which hotel you want to stay at, because there's so many options. They all offer different things and they're all different prices, and you don't want to be spending money where you don't need to necessarily. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my decision. I think the Aventura came to about £150 a night, which I didn't think was too bad. I mean, compared to Disney, it's not so bad. So yeah, 5 nights at the Aventura. I also wanted to ask if anyone has any suggestions of the best way to get from MCO to Universal, whether that's an Uber or there's a shuttle service. I was doing some research the other day and there is a shuttle called Universal's Superstar Shuttle, which I'd never heard of before, but at the moment its one-way price is $23 plus tax. Oh, tax inclusive. Does that mean it's included? Yes, Maisie, that obviously means it's included. So one way from the airport to Universal will be $23 each. And please do let me know if you've used this or if there's a cheaper alternative. I know that getting Ubers sometimes can be a bit stressful and they cancel sometimes. So honestly, I don't mind paying like a tiny bit extra just to have that hassle-free experience. I know nothing is ever hassle-free, but yeah, there's always something. Let me know how you have got to Universal from the airport if you have done before. So let's move on to why we chose Port Orleans French Quarter. Actually gives me like such a warm and fuzzy feeling inside thinking about staying here. So I'd say with all the Disney hotels I was even worse at making a decision because there is, I think, so much more to think about. Initially I was going to go for the All Stars resorts, specifically All Star Movies, because it's hands down the cheapest resorts. And then I thought about just having the buses to get around. So I moved on to Pop Century, which looks amazing. Like, I would love to stay here, and they've got the Skyliner, which is such a great benefit and does make getting around easier. But then I was just thinking to myself, this is not, we are not going to get to do this very often, and it's sort of like a once in a lifetime trip. I know everyone says that and then they end up going back every year, but we won't be able to, I don't think we'll be able to do that. So then I asked myself, like, what would be my ideal, within reason, hotel to stay at, and it would be one of the moderate hotels. This, like, the stripped back, more relaxed theming just appeals to us so much more than like the over the top Disney theming. Like, if we're going to be staying there for 9 nights, I just don't want to be in the parks all day and then come back and then also have this like larger than life Disney theming everywhere, which I'm sure I'd love to do one day, and with like kids and stuff, I think that would be so much fun. But as this is our first proper time staying in Disney, the kind of relaxed vibe just will suit us more, and I think we'll just prefer it. I think out of the moderate resorts, you've got Coronado Springs, Caribbean Beach, and then the Port Orleans, Riverside and French Quarter. I think Coronado Springs looks absolutely like stunning, and the pool, I think the pool like looks one of the nicest pools on property, but the fact that there's only buses to get you around, I think, just put me off. And then you've got Caribbean Beach, which I think I've been put off by all the negative comments of Caribbean Beach. Like, it's a pretty big resort. I think some of the rooms might need updating. I think some of them have been updated, but yeah, it just looks quite spread out, and I don't know, it's just not really stuck out to me as somewhere like I really want to stay there. But obviously it does have the Skyliner and it has the Riviera right next door, so there are so many perks to Caribbean Beach. So with the Port Orleans hotels, I was set on Riverside for quite a long time. Like, I was definitely going to go for that one, and then I saw the refurbished rooms at French Quarter and they just look so beautiful. And I think for me, like, the fear of paying so much money and having a room that's really old and needs updating, it scares me a little bit, because I just want it to be like nice and new. I know that that's just not realistic, but yeah, I just really like a new, modern, clean room, which, I don't know, I think some people will know where I'm coming from, but that's quite important to me. If you're spending a lot of money, you just want the standard to be there. So I didn't realise how much smaller French Quarter was to Riverside. They're right next to each other, but French Quarter is like so much smaller. I think it's actually the smallest hotel on Disney property. It's got the one pool, whereas Riverside has got multiple, like quite a few pools. I think Riverside has also got like internal buses, which I just wasn't keen on. I think the nice thing with French Quarter is that you don't have to necessarily worry about what hotel room you're in, like which block you're in, because you'll always be able to walk to the amenities really easily. So yeah, that was really appealing to me as well, that it was such a small and cozy resort. But yeah, we will definitely take a walk over to Riverside. It just looks like such a beautiful area of Disney. I'm definitely looking forward to the nice surroundings. It just looks so peaceful. Another reason that I chose Port Orleans is for the transport options. So they've got the buses, which every resort has, but then they have a boat service that goes to Disney Springs, which I just thought was so cool, and it's quite a unique kind of perk that you get. And yeah, it's just a bit more of a relaxed method of transportation, and I just think, like, if we go to Disney Springs, like, that's such a nice little cute like date. Get the boat to Disney Springs, go get some Blaze pizza or whatever. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. As I said, my parents are actually in Florida right now, and they were at Disney Springs the other day, so they actually got the boat from Disney Springs to French Quarter and had a look around, and they said it was really lovely. Port Orleans also has quite a variety of quick service options. I'm just on the menu now. I've got like salmon, jambalaya and gumbo, which I'm pretty sure like no other resort apart from Riverside do that sort of food, because it's obviously like New Orleans themed. Yeah, they've got the classic burgers, they've got a honey barbecue pork sandwich, which sounds delicious. And then they've got like pasta, pizza. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff here. I'm actually so excited. I don't know if it's on the dining plan. I assume it's not, but just to get a Disney pizza in our hotel room, I feel like that might be a first night in the hotel thing. Oh my god, I'm honestly just so like excited for the little things you get in the resort. Like the resort mug, the Disney pizza, just getting like the transportation around. It's so exciting. So when the dining plans came out on Tuesday, I decided I was gonna price up Pop Century and then upgrading to the quick service dining plan, and then French Quarter where you get the dining plan included, because if you stay at value I think you only get one quick service meal a day and a drink. I think that might be it. I did price those up and actually it wasn't that much more expensive to stay at a moderate. So yeah, that made my mind up really, that it wasn't that much more expensive and it was the hotel that we would have preferred. I know people have said that the dining plan is not as good as it used to be, but I've never had an experience with a dining plan, so just like happy to be there and have that experience. So I think that's probably everything I want to say about French Quarter. Oh, you can get beignets at French Quarter, so that is another great perk of staying there. I want to say that it was about £305 per night at French Quarter, so not cheap at all, but honestly like I can't believe the price of some of the deluxe resorts. I don't know how people do it. It's probably through like DVC or whatever, but yeah, very excited to stay at French Quarter. So we're going in May next year. Originally I was actually looking at November next year. When we went in August last year it was so unbelievably hot and humid, and I have heard that November is quite a nice time to go because it's still warm but you get kind of the cooler evenings, and obviously all the Christmas decorations would be up, so it would be pretty magical. Generally I think November is a pretty good time to go though, avoiding Thanksgiving, which is at the end of November. So then I started looking at May, and the thought that it was just a year away rather than like a year and a half probably swayed my decision. Just the fact that we're gonna get to go back sooner. I've been in May twice before. I remember it being hot, but I don't remember being overwhelmed with the humidity. I think it was cooler in the mornings and in the evenings, whereas in August like it just never cooled down. Like even on an evening we were still going out and literally like dripping in sweat 2 minutes after going out. So yeah, May looks like a really nice time to go. It also is generally, like looking at crowd calendars and stuff like that, a quieter time to go because there isn't much going on. There's not any like school holidays here or in the US. So yeah, we don't have to worry about any of that. It's also Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, which is just beautiful. The prettiest time for Epcot. Epcot's my favourite park, so I really do appreciate like seeing all the topiaries, and yeah, it's just stunning. Looking forward to doing that again. So yeah, those are kind of the main reasons. I think we also go over a bank holiday Monday, so that means we just have to take less time off, which is quite nice. So yeah, we just basically chose May because of the combination of the weather, the crowds, the Flower and Garden Festival, but I think May is a really nice time to go. And then finally I'm going to talk about who we booked our trip with. So I was pricing up the trip probably like 1 to 2 months prior to the dining plan coming out. I had literally had like a whole spreadsheet and everything, and I was comparing attractiontickets.com and going through Disney directly. I think this is also quite overwhelming, having so many options of where to book, but I have had a good experience with attraction tickets before. Yeah, those are the two that I looked at, and generally attraction tickets was coming out slightly cheaper than doing Disney directly, and loads of people have said to me like, go through Disney, it's the cheapest way to do it. But that wasn't really what I was finding, so I knew that when the dining plan came out I wanted to go through attraction tickets direct. I also signed up for like their email discount a few weeks before the dining plan came out, which I didn't know what it was, but it was just like an early bird sort of thing and you get the code on the day. So I just decided I was going to go through them, and I'm actually really glad I did, because I kept seeing stories of people having like an hour's wait to get onto the Disney website, and I decided just to have a look in the afternoon, and it was still like an hour's wait. So I think like the whole day and a few days after, you had to wait to get onto the website, and honestly like that is just too much stress for me. Like if I can do it an easy way, then I'm gonna do that, even if it's more expensive, which I don't think it was. I haven't priced it up on the Disney website, and it doesn't really matter, I've done it now anyway. But generally before the dining plan came out, it was coming out cheaper with attraction tickets, so hopefully that helps. So I booked the Disney hotel dining plan and tickets, and the Universal hotel and tickets, all through attraction tickets. So with the Disney stuff, they did actually give me an 11% off discount code to use on the day, which was the early bird like offer that I signed up for. And then with Universal, they had a 10% off code on their website that I used. So I don't really think that discount wise you can get much better than that. I may be wrong, but to me that seemed like quite a good deal, to be honest. I was looking on their website earlier, and I think they have 10% off for both Disney and Universal still. So yeah, if you're looking at booking, I would recommend pricing up through them, because I think they're generally good. And I did have a query after I booked, so I emailed and they came straight back to me. So customer service was really helpful. So with attraction tickets, you can't like add multiple things to your basket, or like from different, I don't really know how it works, but I basically had to do it separately with the Disney stuff and the Universal stuff. And I paid a £250 deposit for the Disney stuff and an £100 deposit for Universal, and then the remaining balance for that all is going to be due 6 weeks before our departure date, I think. So that takes us to like March or something next year. And then flights we will book when they come out, which I think is 11 months before. So if we're going in May, it will be sometime in the summer that the flights come out, and then we'll book that separately. The only other thing we have to worry about is our transport from airport to hotels and vice versa, and then spending money. We're on the dining plan. We're going to be getting 2 meals a day and a snack, which we could possibly use for breakfast, because a lot of breakfast items can be like a snack. I think, for instance, the cinnamon roll at Gaston's Tavern in Magic Kingdom, I think that's a snack credit, so you could just get that for breakfast. And then I don't know how much on top we're going to need to spend while we're at Disney. I've just budgeted a certain amount per day for Universal, and then possibly like a nice meal out. I don't know if we're going to do any table service meals at Disney. I think we'll just have to see when the reservation slot opens for us if we think we're going to be able to afford it. But I think if we could maybe do one, I'd be happy. So let me know your favourite table service restaurants too in the comments. I would love to go back to Ohana just for the pudding. The best pudding I've ever had, and I'm not even a sweet tooth, like I'd much rather go for the savoury stuff, but honestly that pudding at Ohana was insane. And obviously you get the view of the fireworks as well, so overall it was just a really nice experience. But yeah, I'm rambling again. One thing I did want to add is that I linked my reservation for Disney to the MyDisneyExperience app. I think when you book your hotel and Disney tickets together, the tickets will run from the day you check in, which makes sense because we're checking into Disney a few days into being in Orlando. They're obviously going to run from the day that we check into the Disney hotel. Like ideally I would have liked them to be valid from the day we get to Orlando, just to have the option to go over to Disney, because it just makes sense. If you're getting a 14-day ticket, it makes sense for you to have them for the 14 days that you're there. I did ask attraction tickets if I could change this, but they said it's linked to your hotel, so they can't change it. But honestly, it's not the end of the world. Like I really doubt we would have even gone over to Disney when we're staying at Universal anyway. It was just ready to have the option. But obviously if we wanted to, we could go to Disney Springs. Yeah, I highly doubt we will. It was just that it made sense in my head that you have the tickets for the duration that you're in Orlando, but they don't know that, do they? So yeah, just bear that in mind, because I didn't really think about that, but yeah, makes total sense. But yeah, I think that is everything I wanted to say. I think this video is going to be like so much longer than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you've got to the end of this video, really appreciate it, thank you. If there's any videos you'd like to see leading up to the trip, let me know, and I will be vlogging the trip, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you are, so that you can see those when they come out. But yeah, I'm just so excited. I actually can't believe I'm making this video. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.